Okay, hi guys. Welcome to my first real tutorial about Python programming. Okay, so this is probably the most basic but most fundamental thing about programming in general. Uh, what I'm going to talk about is variables, the types of variables you can have, and how you can name your variables and what you can and can't name them. Okay, so what is a variable? Okay, imagine you have a piece of paper and you want to hold on to it. Now, probably one of the safest places you could keep it is in a filing system. And this filing system has lots of folders. Okay, what a variable is a folder that contains data. Okay, so in this analogy, X could be the folder, and inside that folder is maybe a paper with the number 2 written on it. So x equals 2. That's what is inside x. That's the value inside x. Okay? So that's how we store it. Now, the use of this is to keep things for later. So say if I wanted to know what is 1 times 4. Okay, so 1 times 4 equals 4. Okay, so we see that it spat out 4, which is correct, but what if we wanted that variable for later? If we wanted that variable for later, we would have to do something like x equals 1 times 4. Okay? And so now we can actually call back what was 1 times 4. Well, 1 times 4 equaled 4, and we call that by using x. So when you're assigning a variable, you always write the variable name, and then you say what is that name equal to, and say you wanted to store the data 7. Okay, that's what the variable name is going to be equal to. Every time you call it, unless you've changed it, it's always going to equal 7. Okay, so the types of variables that you can have are lists, strings, integers, and floats. Those are the basic variable types. For integers and floats, you just type them in as they are, but for strings and lists, they need a bit of syntax. Okay, so you're probably wondering what some of them are. Integer is a whole number, so this means it has no decimal point and it can be entered in just like I showed you before. A float is a number, but it has a decimal point. So exactly the same way you enter it in, but different thing. A string is a bit different to an integer or a float, however. It is basically just, it's any sentence sort of thing, any like English that you would want to appear in your program or have entered into it. So if I had a string, I would put speech marks around it. So if I wanted the string hello, I would put speech marks at the start, like right before hello and after hello. This can include spaces, it can include any types of symbols, and that's what you see when you call it back. The last variable that I'll be teaching you about is called a list. A list starts off with a square bracket, and whatever you want inside your list, you type in, you put the value inside, then a comma, a space, and then the next value. You can start a list empty, or you can fill it with as many things as you like. It just must end in a variable, it does not end in a comma. Okay, so now you know what each variable type is and how to create each one. I'll explain the sort of names you can give each variable. So these names cannot have spaces, otherwise Python thinks it's two separate things. It can have underscores, it cannot start with a number, and it can't contain any symbols. Alright, thank you guys for watching my tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be uploading more soon, and I'll see you then. Bye.